Okay, everybody, this is MTelm Tech here. Today I have a tutorial for you guys on if statements, if-else statements, if-else-if statements, and switch statements. This might be a little confusing, all these terminologies and words at first, but you'll understand it by the end of this video. This is actually a very simple and essential concept in programming, and it's one you should definitely learn. So, ignore this stuff down here for now. This is what we're going to be learning. I'm just going to show you what I have up here, which you guys should already know if you've watched my last couple tutorials. So basically here we have at the top import java.util.scanner, and what that allows us to do is get user input. So here I created a scanner object, and then I did system.out.println, output it to the console down here, and this is basically what we're going to do. Enter your number 10, and then the 10 is the number we imported, and it's going to tell us something about our number. And so here, I then made a variable to hold this number. This time I used an integer variable instead of in the last tutorial when I used a double, because this time we don't need decimals. And we're going to go ahead and go on to the rest of this now. And as you can see here, instead of sc.next double, it's sc.next int. It's pretty similar though. You guys should understand this. If you don't, go ahead and watch my last tutorial on user input. And if you don't understand any of this, go ahead and start from the beginning on my tutorial number 1. So first we're going to learn the if statement. So this is what an if statement does. If a certain condition, then do whatever's inside these brackets. Else, which means if this is false. If, which means if this is true. So if this is false and this is true, then do what's inside these brackets. If both of these are false, then it's going to go down to here, the else. And these two are actually optional. You could just have a plain if statement. But if you use either one of these, else if or else, you have to have an if that precedes it. So you can't have an else if without an if, or an else without an if. But you can have an if without an else if, or a if without an else. So we're going to go ahead and use our number that we had. So as you can see here, I named it I for integer input num. So I input num. If it's less than 10, then we're going to go ahead and do this. System.out.println less than 10. If it's more than 10, then we're going to go ahead and do this, which is say it is more than 10. Input is greater than 10. System.out.println more than 10. There we go. And then if it's not greater than 10 or less than 10, it must be equal to 10. So system.out is 10. Let's just do it equal to 10. There we go. And that is what an if statement does. So if the number is less than 10, it'll do this. If a number is greater than 10 or more than 10, it'll do this. If it's not either one of those, so basically if it's equal to 10, it'll do this. And a switch statement is pretty similar and sometimes more useful, but in this case, an if statement's actually better. I'm going to go ahead and show you the switch statement as well. So a switch statement, what you do is you give it a variable, and we're going to use I input num, and you tell it what to do on each value of the variable. So if the variable is 1, then do what's under here until you reach the breakpoint. It's not closed by the brackets. It's closed by the breakpoint here, the break statement. The whole switch statement is enclosed in brackets, if you guys didn't notice that. So under 1, we don't really want anything on specific numbers. So a cool thing about a switch statement is you can also do the same thing for multiple cases. So if we did this, case 3, and we went all the way to case 10, or case 5, case 6, case 7, case 8, case 9, Messed up my typing there a little bit. Go ahead and fix that. There we go. Okay, so this now will do the same thing for the numbers 1 through 9. So whether it's 1 through 9, it'll tell you the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and do system.out.println, and we're going to say less than 10. And if it's 10, what is this? I hate autocorrect. Autocorrect is annoying sometimes, but other times it's awesome. And then we're going to do, let's go ahead and make that look a little prettier. So case 10 system.out.print is equal to 10. There we go. And then default, what default is if you didn't specify the number. So if it's 11, we didn't tell it what to do. So that would fall under default. If it's 476, we didn't tell it what to do. So that would fall under default. So for default, we are going to make sure we had a break here, actually. So for default, we're going to say it's going to be more than 10. More than 10. There we go. So now let's test out our program. It'll come up down here. And we're going to enter in 17 to start with. So it should say more than 10 twice, since we did the if statement and the switch statement. 17, more than 10, more than 10. So now let's try it for a number that's less than 10. Let's try it for 6. Less than 10, less than 10. And now let's try a number that is 10. 10 is equal to 10 is equal to 10. So this is an example of an if statement, else if statement, else statement, and then a switch statement down here. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like it, favorite it, and subscribe to me for more Java programming tutorials. And have a nice day learning programming. Thank you very much for watching.